I woke up with a huge craving for my favorite snack, popcorn sprinkled with cinnamon sugar. I could almost smell the sweet cinnamon in the air as I ran to the kitchen. I grabbed the popcorn bag and put it in the microwave. Next, I reached for my trusty cinnamon shaker on the spice rack, but in my excitement, I didn't look carefully enough. I shook a big pile of powder over the popcorn, swirling it around eagerly, imagining the sweet taste. Finally, I took a big crunchy bite, and immediately my eyes widened. It was not sweet at all. Instead, my mouth burned and my throat tickled, making me cough and gasp for water. I stopped eating and looked closely at the shaker label. To my surprise, it wasn't cinnamon at all. It was chili powder. Dripping in surprise, I grabbed a glass of water to cool down the spicy mess in my mouth. As I started over with a new bag of popcorn, this time double-checking the spice, I noticed Caden laughing at me from the stairs. Then he said, "God's love helps us learn even when we mess up." I grinned back, feeling thankful that God's grace never runs out. It's okay to make mistakes because he helps us grow stronger every day. I was out for a jog when I saw a trail that looked like a shortcut straight back to my house. At first, it feels smart because it looks like the trail is going to cut right through the neighborhood. But after a while, I slow down and realize I should have been out by now. I keep jogging thinking it'll open up any second, but it doesn't. Now there's nothing but woods on both sides. I pull my phone out to check my GPS and I've got no service. That's when I start questioning every decision I've ever made. I keep moving and end up crossing this weird Chinese bridge that looks like it hasn't been used in years. Halfway across, I realize I really have to pee. So I run under the bridge and right when I'm about to relax, I hear what sounds like an alligator roar. I get my butt right back to the trail. Then I start hearing movement on both sides of the woods. So I quickly grab a stick like that's going to help me in any way. Then I finally see some kids riding by on their bikes. So I start calling out for help, but they just keep riding like I'm part of the scenery. I start jogging faster, telling myself I'm fine until the trail finally opens up. I look up relieved, but realize I'm standing right back where I started. And that's when I learned that shortcuts only work if they actually go somewhere. So one day, Ethan brought home a rock, but not just any rock, a rock with a built-in speaker, and he was about to do the ultimate prank. He placed the speaker by the pool and waited behind a tree for his brother Brayton to come outside.
Brayton is about to be scared out of his swimming trunks.
It's time to go swimming, swimming, yaddy la 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 da. Whoa, mama, that feels good.
Here we go.
Huh? What's that? Oh, I know what that is. Ghost!
Brayton started running around the whole entire yard trying to escape the noise.
Please don't hurt me, Ghost. I'm sorry for dipping my foot in the water. I won't do it again. I said I'm sorry. Oh, it knows my name.
Look at you, Brayton. You're such a fool.
No, I'm not, Ethan. There's a ghost out here.
Brayton, it was me. I'm the ghost.
What?
Yep, and there's nothing you can do about it, little boy.
I'm really excited this morning because today is October 1st, which means we're just 30 days away from Halloween. I want every day of this month to be spooky, so I got right to work transforming our house into a haunted mansion. First, I inflated the decorations in the front yard and made sure they were positioned just right. Then I went inside and decorated the house with Halloween decor. The final touch was the skeleton, but I had no idea where to put it. At first, I placed it in front of the piano, but then I realized it might scare the baby. So I went to the garage, grabbed the ladder, and hung it from the chandelier. But then I took it down because I didn't want it to fall on someone's head. Finally, I decided to sit it on the edge of a beam in my living room. I was done, but I still felt like something was missing. That's when it hit me. I always scare Destiny on the first day of October. I went into my costume closet and picked out one of my masks. Then I hid and waited for Destiny to walk by. As soon as I heard her coming, I jumped out and scared her so much that she smacked my mask off. I think next year, I might skip scaring her. I started the morning ready to get things done. In the kitchen, Destiny was feeding Kaylani. But before I could get going, Caden's piano playing caught my attention. His music filled the room, and I didn't realize how good he's gotten. I moved to upgrade my studio doorknob, planning to finish quickly. But Kaylani said it's time to play. She drummed behind me, then climbed on my back, turning my work into a playful moment. Instead of rushing, I let her stay close, realizing some things are worth slowing down for. After the doorknob was changed, I headed to the gym, thinking I'd finally have time for myself. But even there, my mind was on my family and the moments I might be missing. Later, Destiny and I drove to lunch, reflecting on the sermon we just listened to. At the restaurant, the simple joy of eating together reminded me that these small moments are what really matter. As the day ended, we all gathered in the pool, splashing and laughing under the sunset. In the rush of life, it's easy to forget that family is the heart of everything. Sometimes, the best thing we can do is just be present and enjoy the little moments together. My kids keep the living room covered in toys, so I decide to surprise them with a cool hangout fort under the stairs. We got this little storage space, and in my head, this is finally gonna keep everything in one place. I open it up, and the first thing I notice is the walls look way too plain. So I grab some wrapping paper and tape it up. Then I realize the light is way too bright, and I want it to feel like a vibe. So now I'm running around the house looking for LED lights, and luckily I find some in the garage. I hang them up, and now it's actually starting to come together. I put their toys in a basket and bring those in too. The last thing it needs is pillows for the floor, but I don't have enough, so I take the couch cushions instead. Everything's set and I'm feeling proud. That's when I realize I can't open the door from the inside. So now I've got no choice but to ruin the surprise and yell for help. Kaden opens the door, sees the fort, and immediately starts playing in it. I go to the bathroom to clean myself up, and when I come back out, Kaden has extended the fort right back into the living room. And that's when I learned kids don't want organization. They want expansion. When I was a kid, I used to drum on everything. The couch, the table, the floor, even the dog. But one day, I spotted the window. It had a nice echo, the perfect bounce. I couldn't help myself. I start going crazy, drumming on the window harder and harder. Then suddenly, the window slides down mid-beat and won't stay up. Now I'm panicking because in our house, if you break something, you better fix it before Dad finds out. But lucky for me, he wasn't home, so I had some time. I grab a hanger and prop the window up. But then a gust of wind comes through and slams the window back down.
What was that?
Oh my goodness, he's home. I knew he was about to come to my room, so I just left the window down.
What you in here slamming?
Practicing for my drum solo?
Why does it smell like you haven't been washing your... You know what? We need to open up a window in here.
No, Dad, let me do it. But it was too late. He figured out what I was trying to cover up, and I got a spanking.
I'm afraid you...
Amazon said my wife's gift was arriving Christmas morning, so my plan was simple. I was going to grab it early and put it under the tree before everyone came downstairs. But when I checked the porch, there was no box. So I pull out my phone and check the tracking, and it says out for delivery. I'm like, okay, cool, we're fine. A few minutes later, I refresh it, and now it says 10 stops away. I start moving around real fast, trying to speed up time. Christmas morning starts, and I'm constantly checking my phone. Destiny asked if there was any gift for her, and I tell her it's almost here. Then the tracking updates again, and now it says arriving by tonight. My stomach drops. I start pacing, pretending I'm just stretching my legs. I keep checking the porch, hoping maybe it came and the app just didn't update, but nothing. A few minutes later, my phone buzzes and Amazon says delivered. I run outside to grab her gift, but the porch is empty. I walk up and down the driveway like maybe they hid it somewhere. Still nothing. Then I check the app again and it updates to your delivery may be lost. And that's when I learned Amazon confidence is not Christmas confidence. When I was a kid, Black Friday meant one thing: leftovers. But my dad, he guarded the fridge like a security guard.
None of y'all better touch my ham.
So one year, Dad takes a nap, and I get a little hungry. And I see that ham chilling in the fridge, glowing like treasure. So I move slow, open the foil like a surgeon, and I take one bite, and it was good. So I take another,
And it was even better than the first bite.
before I knew it, that ham was gone. But I figured my dad would just forget.
That was a good nap. I feel like eating some ham.
Oh my goodness, I'm about to get a spanking. So I found one little piece and put it back in the fridge. Oh, what's up, Dad? Peace out.
Where you going?
Walking to the store to get a hoagie.
Nah, come over here and share this ham with me. I know how much you wanted, so...
It's all right, Dad, I'm full. I mean good. But it was too late.
Say huh. You ate my ham!
And that's when I learned you can steal Dad's leftovers as long as you're okay with a butt whooping. So I'm very afraid of heights. So my wife Destiny tricked me into going to New York City to visit one of the tallest buildings in the city. At first, Destiny made it seem like we were just gonna have a fun day of exploring. We drove around the busy city, walked outside in the blazing sun, and saw some amazing art. But then Destiny said she wanted to go to a place called The Edge. I bought us tickets, and once we got inside, it was so cool. We took pictures and saw so many interesting things. Then we hopped into this awesome elevator. It felt like we were in it for a long time, and I started to wonder what was happening. When the doors finally opened, I couldn't believe my eyes. We were 100 floors in the sky. That's when I understood why it was called The Edge. I was so scared, but Destiny encouraged me to conquer my fears. With my heart racing, I decided to be brave and step outside onto the observation deck. And you know what? It wasn't so bad. In fact, it was a lot of fun and the view was incredible. Although I conquered my fears, I was definitely ready to get back down to solid ground. I woke up yelling this morning because somehow I woke up in my car in the middle of nowhere. I definitely fell asleep in my bed, so I wanted to find out how I managed to get in my car and drive somewhere. First, I tried looking at the security footage in my Tesla, but there was no footage of me getting in my car, so I decided to get out of the car and search around for some clues. I found this random path and followed it, but I started getting bit by mosquitoes, so I turned around and ran back to my car. Then I realized I was getting kind of hungry, but to my surprise, there was a Starbucks bag on the floor of my car with my favorite sandwich inside. I looked at the bag, and there was a note telling me to watch the video on my smart glasses. I found the glasses in the cup holder, but they were dead, so I had no choice but to drive home and charge them. When they finally turned back on, I quickly connected them to my phone to see the footage, and I couldn't believe what I saw. There was a video of me getting out of my bed and walking outside to my car this morning. There's only one explanation. I'm a sleepwalker. Being a dad means somehow everything that breaks is your fault. So when the Wi-Fi went out, everyone in the house looked straight at me like I work for the internet. Caden's like, Dad, hurry up, my game's lagging. Destiny's yelling, come on, I got work to do? Even baby Kaylani's in her high chair throwing a fit. So I unplugged the router, waited 10 seconds, like a pro, plugged it back in, and nothing. Dang, that usually works. I looked up at my family, and they were all looking at me like I was worthless. So I unplugged it again, this time squinting, because, squinting makes you smarter. And still nothing. Destiny said, I thought you could fix anything. Then Kaden said, geez, Dad, I thought you were smart.
Just give me a second to think.
After that outburst, I looked down and realized the power strip wasn't even plugged in. I fixed it, everything came back online, and I threw my hands up like a hero. But before I could celebrate, Kaden said, it's not fixed, my game's still lagging. And that's when I realized in dad life, you don't get trophies, you just get blamed faster. When I was a kid, my brothers never wanted to take me anywhere. They said I was too immature and would cramp their style. And yeah, maybe they were right. But one day I decided that was it. I was done being the little kid. So I came up with a plan to prove how mature I was. I ironed my church pants, tucked in my shirt, sprayed on my dad's cologne, and waited by the door. Gentlemen, I am ready for an evening on the town. They looked at me like I just applied for a job. Okay, I see you, Mr. Mature. But if you want to hang out with us, you gotta show us your cool walk. Say less. I leaned my shoulder down and started strutting down the hallway, real smooth. They're behind me, hyping me up, trying not to laugh. Then my other brother says, all right, now turn around real slowly and walk back. So I do the smoothest spin around, and to my surprise, my brothers were gone. I ran to the front door, and they were already halfway down the street. And that's when I learned, being mature doesn't get you invited. It just means you get left behind in dress shoes. So I'm happy this morning because I came downstairs and found the whole living room decked out in fall decorations. Pumpkins everywhere, leaves on the walls, and even my favorite mini pumpkin snacks. As I enjoyed one, Destiny walked in and applauded me for the decorating. I told her it wasn't me, and I thought she did it. She suggested it might have been Kaden. So I dashed into Kaden's gaming room and asked if he had decorated the living room. He shrugged and said he couldn't have even if he wanted to because he's broke. Then I remembered I had a camera set up in the living room. I decided to check the footage to see who put up the decorations, and you wouldn't believe what I saw. The decorations put themselves up. That's when it clicked. I realized we had a ghost. Just as panic set in, I heard laughter coming from the other room. Was that the ghost getting ready to attack? I had to find out, so I rushed in the room to find my daughter, Kaylani, drawing on her easel. But to my surprise, everything she drew came to life. Wait, does that mean those pumpkin snacks I just ate weren't real? When I was a kid, I was obsessed with building forts. Couch cushions, blankets, chairs, nothing in the house was safe. But one day, I spotted the beam. That long white one high above our living room windows. It had the perfect height, the perfect space. So I got to work. Curtains, check. Pillows, check. Snacks, double check. I even set up walkie-talkies around the house so I could hear whenever Dad was coming. That way, all I had to do was pull back the curtains and boom! The living room looked normal again. I slide inside of my creation feeling like I'm in a top secret base. But then I feel something tickle my arm. I look down, spider! I'm flailing, shaking, doing a full body freak out.
What's going on in here?
Oh my goodness, I'm caught!
Show yourself.
Here I am.
What did I tell you about building forts in my house?
Dad, I was putting on a puppet show for you, but he didn't want to hear it.
Stop making these forts in my house.
So growing up, my dad had one rule.
Nobody touched my ladder.
One day, he runs to the store.
Where you going?
Door closes, me and Dre look at each other.
Whoa.
Then at the ladder, sitting in the backyard.
Don't do it.
Next thing I know, I'm halfway up this ladder like I'm fixing the roof.
Who do you think you is, Bob the Builder?
I didn't even need to be up there. I just wanted to feel tall for a second. But then the ladder starts wobbling. Bro, you good? Nah, I'm coming down.
Scaredy cat.
I jump down, the ladder tips over, and falls straight onto my dad's most expensive plant. The plant wasn't looking too good, and if Dad saw it,
You know what? Before I finish my project,
wait for it.
I'm gonna water my plant.
So I start trying to bring it back to life, but it's too late. He walks into the yard, looks at the plant, then looks at me.
Jasmine, do you touch my plant?
Oh, he mad. No.
Liar.
The ladder did. He just shook his head, took a deep breath, and started unbuckling his belt.
He about to get it.
So I'm feeling nervous this morning because we're taking our baby daughter to her first amusement park. I've always had a fear of rides breaking down, so I didn't want her to get on any. First, I tried to keep her entertained in this fun maze, but she quickly got bored. Then I brought her over to the goats at the petting zoo, but she lost interest after just a few minutes. I even tried to bribe her with gifts from the gift shop, but she still wanted to go on the rides. So I showed her the splash pad, hoping she would forget about the rides for a while. Just when I thought she'd stop asking about them, Kaden came over and started talking about the rides. I had no choice but to take her on one. I got on it with her, and I might have been even more scared than she was. But thankfully, it ended quickly. Just when I thought it was all over, she said she wanted to go on the roller coaster, which is my biggest fear. I was biting my nails all the way to the front of the line. It turned out she was too small to ride, and I felt relieved that I didn't have to face that ride. But then Kaden said he still wanted to go on it. I was so terrified on that roller coaster that I fainted.